Okay, should be streaming. This is a little bit of a different setup than I'm doing normally. Just want to make sure, confirm that it's going through. There it is. All right. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I know I'm wearing my headset, so hopefully I'm not too loud or not too quiet, or that there's not too much other background noise popping up during this. So I don't know how many people are in here right now. I'm not keeping track. Again, I apologize for the weird setup. I kind of just quickly came in the room so that way there'd be some quiet in here because the dogs have been barking a lot from hearing everything outside in the hallway, and I don't know if you can hear Gizzy crunching on his food right now, but he's munching away. So if you hear him, I apologize. And I can't tell, I think I might be too loud, so I'll turn my microphone down a little bit. Hopefully that'll help. So yeah, welcome to my room, and welcome to me being in Lazy Man's clothes. And so this quick little snippet stream, hopefully it's not gonna go too long unless some people have some input or advice. And if people are watching this stream later on, feel free to hit me up in Discord if you have any input or advice, or maybe even in the comments. Normally I don't like to air too much of my, I talk about my personal life, but I don't want to get like too in detail. Sometimes I'm going to turn the volume down just a bit more. Don't want to get overly in detail with things, but this time some things are affecting what could possibly impact my YouTube channel. And I stream with the Four Swordsmen, and I do a character called Biscuit on Slim Cyborg's channel on Saturdays. And so a lot of things might be affected. It all depends on what decisions I make in the next probably 18 hours. I got a call today. As most people know, I work for a company called iFly, and I've been on furlough for a year now. And because the fact that I've been on furlough for a year, anyone who's been on furlough through iFly is, as of today, let go. They are no longer an employee. So that news came in. Now there are some options that could be going on. Is I could choose to work at a different location for up to 3 months, which if that's the case, then obviously I still have my employment, and I don't have to worry about anything there, but I would be going to a different destination for some time, and that's where it would affect my YouTube channel. It would affect my time with the Swordsman. It would affect my time with Slim Cyborg as doing Cookie and Biscuit on Saturdays, and my overall created content. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do Biscuit and Cookie just because I wouldn't be able to do the makeup for it or the wigs. As we all know, Chase does the wonderful face painting for me, so Biscuit can become a character. And so without Chase being there, that character would have to be put on hold for a while. Now, as far as streaming with the Swordsman, that would still be a possibility. It would just depend on what days I would have off and what times work for everyone else. I would be restricted to my laptop, which my laptop is a great source of frustration for me. It's a piece of garbage. I can go on Discord and I can talk on there just fine, but usually it takes quite a while for things to get set up on there just because it's so slow. And then as far as created content goes, video editing on there and doing things sucks ass, like super bad. I could still take my DJI Pocket 2, and I could still take the laptop, and I could still do some things and do some videos. I would have to definitely plan out much further in time of what I would want to do than what I currently do, just because it does take so long to do editing and stuff on there. Um, I thought about possibly still doing live streams, kind of like a diary type deal, as far as my experience if I were to go to another location and be working. I don't know how great the quality would come through because, again, my laptop really sucks. Um, and I don't know what location I'd be going to at this time. It could be anywhere from New York to Atlanta to DC, uh, Kansas. I don't know. I should find out some news tomorrow morning. Personally, I don't want to go anywhere. Like, if it were to me, I wouldn't go anywhere because I have 3 little dogs here. I have a fiance. I got a fish tank, and obviously, I have a life here. So to just get up and kind of leave for up to 3 months, and it could be as soon as in like 2-3 days have to go. So it'd be very, very quickly that I'd have to head out. I'm a very introverted person typically. Like online, I guess I'm a little bit more outgoing because I don't have to physically see people in front of me and be nervous in that way. And I've become really good friends with a lot of you guys, so I think I'm not as shy now. So me going someplace else, I kind of feel would impact my mental health a little bit. I think I would be glad that I was working, but the fact that I'm not around Chase or my dogs or other people that I know here would probably take its toll, because I'd be going to work and then I'd be sitting in a hotel room that's about the size of my bedroom currently, and so I probably would start getting depressed, if I were to be honest, and not being able to do as much on YouTube would take its toll, as far as, like I said, again, not being able to do Cookie and Biscuit, and possibly very, very limited as far as the swordsman go in my creative content. So if I was to go to work full time currently here where I live, I'm not going to say that things wouldn't take a hit as well. Things would have to change a little bit, but it's just easier because I'm here. I have the means to do things. I got my desktop. I got Chase to help out with Biscuit and stuff like that. So there's that part where that's the option. The other option, obviously, is to be laid off, not have my job. There is a severance package, and continue on with unemployment, and obviously start looking for a job. The thing is, so the furlough ended, my job is ended, but when they need people again, or when they would need instructors, my job, I guess, is there. So it's not like I'm completely gone away and fired from this place, or at least that's my understanding. But my biggest fear with it all is, with the location I work at, like, I love the people I work with. They love me. They want me back. They want me in. It's just this whole pandemic thing. Obviously, we're limited with how many people we can have working, how many people we have coming in, yada, yada, yada. So my fear with not taking the offer to possibly go out to another city to work for up to 3 months, so that way I'm at least, quote unquote, still employed. I would just be a borrowed instructor from the location that I'm at, versus if I take the severance and now I'm considered no longer an employee, but if they have callbacks, will I be, because currently I'm the next in line to get, I was the next in line to get called back, to the MSP location. But with everyone being let go, if they bring people back on, is it going to go by a hire date or a time at company type thing? So even though I'm located in the Twin Cities and I work at that location and I've been an instructor there for 2 years, is there someone who might be out in Chicago who's been working for 5 years? Are they going to get offered the position in Minneapolis first? So that's where I kind of struggle, and that's where I kind of want to know, well, what's going on? I know everyone here wants me to be working there, but they aren't the corporation. The corporation makes those decisions. It could be as soon as a month from now that I get called back. It could be 2 months from now that I get called back. It could be 3 months from now that I get called back. And so that's where I kind of struggle. Is like, if I stay with the company and I go out to another city, which I don't want to do, but might have to do if I want to keep my job with this company, or do I take the severance, continue on unemployment, start looking for another job in hopes that I get called back in a month or two, which then would suck if I do find another job, then to tell them like, hey, my job that I actually do want to do called me back. Screw you guys, I'm out the door. So it's one of those where I don't know what to do. Currently, how I feel about it is, if I'm guaranteed to be the first asked back to my location when they need an instructor on hand, then I will take the severance and I will continue on unemployment and start looking for a different job, because I'm going to assume that in a month or two they are going to need an instructor to come back, versus packing up, quickly flying out to a whole location that I don't know, and work there for 2 to 3 months and get work to the bone, and then come back here. And I don't like the thought of leaving everything behind. I don't like the thought of not being able to participate in a lot of the live streams or participate in some of the shows that I've been doing. And okay, I hope I say your name right, Aza. Tough decision if you're working through them elsewhere. You've got a foot in the door. If your job comes up with them locally, but moving away from everything you love is so hard. That's the thing, is like, I wouldn't be moving. I'd be thrown into an extended stay. And so I'd basically be living in a hotel room for 2 to 3 months, in another city. And then come back and hope when I come back that they need an instructor here, and then I can continue on. With the way this pandemic is going, it's so crazy, because it's like, one, people are just stupid, right? They're absolutely stupid. Where they see that vaccinations are coming about, they see that the numbers are getting low, so they're going around and they're doing a bunch of things, and they're partying with people, and they're going without masks and all this other stuff, not understanding that it's still out there and you can still pass it on and create this to spike again. And so that's kind of where I like somewhat struggle too, because it's like, I'm hoping that in a month or two I'd get called back, but I also know how stupid people are here in America, that we could be spiking really hard again in a month or two, and then they close everything back down. I'm reading Tusk, I'm reading your thing. I know struggle here. The company I worked for shut for lockdown. Then we all got fired as it got absorbed by a bigger law firm and wanted the clients but not the staff. Yeah. Oh, I gotta sneeze quick, I think. Where's the mute button? I'll try to quickly mute it before I do sneeze. Then the other part comes to be the financial part, right? So if what's weird about all this too is right now there's that kind of gap in the stimulus stuff as far as unemployment. So technically, as of yesterday, my extended unemployment stuff ran out because that's when the extension was or whatever from the last stimulus, and now they just signed something into law, and so I don't know when that would take effect. So I don't know if I'd get unemployment this week, if it would be the same as what I've been getting, because I had to basically reapply with last year's income, which last year's income was like a third of what I'd make because I only worked January, February, and half of March. And so I technically, quote unquote, don't apply or don't qualify for unemployment because I didn't make enough last year. But I didn't make enough last year because of this, or are they going to carry over my numbers from the year before and keep me going on with the unemployment that I've been getting? I don't know how all that works. I don't know what's going on with that. I've tried looking into it, and there's really not a lot of information out there on that. So that's another, obviously a big part that plays into this money, finances. If I go out to another city to start working, then I'm going to have a 2-week gap as far as income, and that's something that scares the shit out of me right now because I got bills, I got things to pay, and I'm just not going to have money to cover the 2 weeks of not getting paid, until a paycheck comes in. So that worries me a little bit. That kind of is part of the decision. Someone's calling me, sorry. So that part worries me a little bit. But if I take the severance, then there's some money there. I don't know as far as unemployment goes, how finances work out that way, and then look for a job. I just hope that I love working where I work. I love it. I just hope that within a month or two I can get called back and start working. So it's, do I take the severance, sit and wait in hopes that I get the call back, or do I stay with the company, go to another location, possibly be miserable for 2 to 3 months, and come back and hope that by that time they'll need me on staff here where I work. Yeah, I'm trying to read what some of you are saying. Things are too unpredictable. It's exactly it. Tusk, I read what you say. Every time we try to reopen, we have a spike and it all goes belly up again. Exactly. Just because people, they start to open things up, and when people open things up, they think no masks, be close. They don't try to realize that you still need to take precautions, until everyone has a vaccine or something like that. But yeah, Tony, the hard part is it's kind of got to be a decision, like I said, within like the next 16 to 18 hours, as far as what I do, because I could be getting a call tomorrow and they could say, yes, they need help down in Atlanta. You have to leave by Thursday if you're going to do this. So then I got to be like, okay, guess I'm going to Atlanta. Or I got to make the decision of, give me the severance. I'll hopefully be able to continue my unemployment while I look for a new job, and hopefully get a call back in a month or two. Tusk, I don't even know what small business I would start. I'm very limited on my skills. Like, I've literally had pretty much like 3-4 jobs my entire adult life. So in the last 20 years, uh 13 years of it was spent as an airline refueler out at the international airport. Then a few years was spent as an in-home pet caretaker, and then I worked at another airport while also working at the drop zone before I became an instructor at iFly. So I don't have a lot of skills. I'm only a high school graduate, and so there's not a lot I could do. I know there's a lot of good entry level jobs out there and stuff like that. I have no clue what would interest me. There's a lot of things. There's a job just right up the street from me where it's basically like bicycle parts, and I think they ship them out to people in different places, and the hours are pretty much the hours that I'm awake and love because I'm a night owl, and they're more evening time. So if I was to take the severance, and if I was to do the unemployment until I found another job, I think, it would be fairly easy. I'm sure there's some things around here that I could find. I'm one of those people where I would feel guilty as hell if I started a new job and I got called back to iFly like a week or two after starting that new job. I would feel so shitty. Like, oh, you just hired me and you put me through training, and guess what? Now I'm gonna go back to the job that I prefer. So screw you. See you, bye. So there's that part of me where it's just like, if I take a job, I'm one of those where I'm very dedicated to it. Like, when I take a job, I want it to be a long-term job. I don't want it to be temporary, because I don't think it's fair to a company to hire someone and spend the money on them for them to only be there for, a month or less. So that's where I struggle a little bit. I guess that's my morals kicking in. And there's also a part of me where it's like, in this economy and in this day and age, I think people are to expect that someone might take a job temporarily really short and then leave to go somewhere else. So 50 hours a week as a dog carker. See, I am still part of a small company where we, like I said, take care of people's pets in their homes when they go on vacation. But obviously during this pandemic time, people haven't really been going on vacation, so there hasn't been much pet care out there, because otherwise I'd be taking some more of those jobs, and it pays okay. It can bring in some extra stuff. And Tony Regime, same thing. How about a job that I could do part-time if I got called back? That was one option too, is my general manager said, if I did happen to take another job, and I got called back, they could try to bring me back as a part-time an instructor until I got things figured out, or put in a 2 weeks notice with the other job or something like that. It's still where I'd feel like, me personally would feel guilty putting in 2 weeks notice so shortly after starting a job. Doesn't mean it's bad or anything. It's something I could definitely do. My biggest thing currently with the situation is going to another location, 2 weeks of no finances, and trying to figure out how to pay bills. If I don't go to a different location, I decide to take the severance and continue on unemployment until I find a job. One, I don't know when the severance is going to come in. Two, I don't know how my unemployment is going, considering things just ended for me this last weekend. So I don't know how things are moving forward from there, because currently it shows I have zero balance in unemployment, and I didn't see anything for like the PEUC or PUEC, whatever it is, extension, because I'm sure they're still trying to figure that out since the newest stimulus package went through. So I don't know when I'll be getting any kind of finances from that. So those are my biggest things right now. It seems like the severance would probably be the quickest way to get paid with some money coming in, and then some of the employment. But biggest thing was I wanted to talk mostly about kind of like the YouTube channel and give people a heads up as far as where things are going and what things will be happening. Um, um, Tusk grading the Postal Service. The Postal Service was always something that, weirdly, it was a job that I kind of always had wanted, just because you get paid really well, you get really good benefits. I'm used to working outside. I mean, like I said, I was an airline refueler for 13 years. That I'm used to the cold. I mean, here in Minnesota, you get a minus 40-degree wind chill very easily, and when you're outside fueling an airplane, it's not like it's instant. You could be standing out there for an hour, just standing there getting blasted by the wind. So I'm used to weather, I'm used to all that stuff, so it's something I thought about. I'd have to look. So there's definitely job options. I mean, there's an Amazon warehouse not far from here, and I know Amazon, but again, it would be a job for the time being to bring in money until I got called back. Like if it was a place like Amazon, if I went to Amazon and got hired on there, and like even if it was 2 days later that I got called back to be an instructor, I wouldn't give two craps about Amazon. I'd be like, yep, going back to work, see ya. So that part I wouldn't care, but some of like these other smaller businesses or other places around here that probably are hiring, I'd feel a little bit guilty about. So I know Demon Orm, planes don't use fuel. Yeah, Tony, I could do where I'd be a full-time instructor part-time at the other job. It's definitely an option. I guess it would depend on what they hired me on as, if I was hired on as part-time or if I was hired on as full-time, how willing they'd be to work with me on things. So there's definitely options. There's just a lot of things that I have to think about within the next few hours as far as, do I want to go travel somewhere? Now I did say this. If they said that iFly Dallas location needed help, I'd probably be willing to go there in a heartbeat, because the thing is, I don't personally know them, but at least Johnny O, JL Warren, and Team Skeptic are down there, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of other people down in Dallas that I know from on here that I could meet up with, or at least be shown around the city to kind of not make me feel so like secluded. Whereas if I went out to New York, I don't know anyone in New York, and if any of you say CC from Westchester County is a guy who I could meet up with, no, he is not a dude I would want to meet up with in New York. But I don't know anyone in New York that could show me around. There's one person who I might know down in Atlanta if they send me down there, and that would be my original skydiving instructor, who taught me from the beginning, which would be kind of cool, because he taught me how to skydive, and I became an iFly instructor before he became an iFly instructor. So it's kind of interesting how that works. I didn't train him with anything or anything like that, but it would be kind of cool to work with my original skydiving instructor, and we both are tunnel instructors. So that'd be kind of cool. But I don't know if he's still there or not. I'll have to reach out to him to see if he's working or if he's not working down there. So there's some thoughts to it. Like I said, overall, I kind of don't want to go anywhere, just because mental health wise, I don't know how it would do. My YouTube stuff would significantly drop off. And there would be a lot less content. And I felt like I finally started getting a rhythm on here. I felt like I finally started to find a catch and a niche. I know I haven't done an up in the air episode in a while, but I was going to be planning something for that. Like this Thursday, I'm going to interview one of my fellow instructors at iFly, who's also a skydiving instructor, and talk to her about her experience with skydiving and the safety behind it all, and why certain things are really important. And so that was going to be an up in the air episode. I thought the biscuit stuff was starting to come along really well. The weather's starting to get better, other than today we got snow, but the weather was starting to get better where I could start getting drone videos out again. I wanted to kind of do a little bit of debunk and just people who are just straight up stupid or flat earthers and stuff like that. So I felt like I was finding a rhythm. So it kind of sucks, and especially with the swordsman, it felt like we were starting to get a rhythm and really going. And I know we can probably pick a different day or a different time, depending on what, if I go to another location, depending on what days off I have. So it's not the biggest loss. Working with Slim, that's pretty much going to have to be done. Unfortunately, because it was a big hit, and it was going really well. If I go another place, I just don't have someone to do makeup or hair for me, and I don't know if I could learn it in 2 days or 3 days. But if I don't go out there, him and I can continue doing things. But once I do go back to work, him and I might have to discuss like a different weekday to do it. So yeah, SpaceX, that'd be fun. I could fuel them, or I could fuel things for them. I know that stuff. I know a lot of stuff of airplanes, and I don't have my mechanics thing, so I can't really apply for that. I know a lot of airport stuff, so it's a lot of things I could figure out and do. And drop zones, I think our drop zone will be opening in April. I could go back and work as a packer, bring in some money that way and whatnot. But you really don't make any good money as a packer until the season kicks off a little bit more, when the weather gets a little bit warmer and there's more people doing tandem skydives and stuff like that. So like I said, there's options. It's just going to be what's going to happen with this financial gap in the next 2 weeks, and what do I want to do mentally for myself. But the YouTube channel stuff is going to probably cut back significantly, and I just wanted everyone to know that. And it sucks. It sucks a lot. Because I was having fun with a lot of you people on here, and there's a lot of, collaborations going on with people. That was a lot of fun, and it's not like this is a goodbye or a breakup or anything. It's just saying that if I have to go somewhere, in order to keep my position, then a lot of stuff is just gonna go kaput out the door. Yeah. But I don't know. I just wish people would be smart, and I wish we didn't have to be going through this damn shit for a year now. A year. This sucks. Like, god damn. That's weird to think it's been that long already. And I'm optimistic though. I'm really hopeful that in a month or two I would be called back to my job. And so that's kind of where I'm like, just don't go anywhere. Just take the severance, get the money from them, get unemployment, find a stupid job for the time being, and who knows. I know right now they're trying to push you really hard. They're full time right now as far as spring break goes, which oy vey. I'm curious to see how the numbers are going to spike after spring break, especially with Texas being open. I think I heard something about California being fully open now or something like that. but I know that our location has been doing really good for numbers. That after spring break, they're going to try to keep longer hours and more days, because currently they were only open 5 days a week when normally we are 7 days a week, but they're currently only 5 days a week. They're going to try to push for I think 6 days a week plus more hours, and if that's the case, then I would get called back. So it could be as soon as 3 weeks. So that's where it's like, what do I do? Do I go fly somewhere and be unhappy? Do I take the severance and hope that they call me back in 3 weeks and not have to worry about going anywhere, not have to worry about leaving Chase behind, the dogs behind, or all that other stuff? Welcome to people who kind of came in later to the party. Sorry you're hearing me rant on certain stuff. Bryce and Evie in New Zealand. Who else did we get in here? Shane. I think I kind of mentioned everyone else who were in here. Yeah. What makes you happy is the most important. That's the thing is I love instructing people. I love taking people into the wind tunnel. The thing is, I love the Minneapolis location for iFly. And this isn't to knock Chicago at all. I've worked at the 3 tunnels out there, and they're great people out there, but the vibe out here is just different. And I don't know if it's because we are all skydivers and we are all tunnel flyers, where other tunnels you go to, they're tunnel flyers, but they haven't skydived. That I don't know if it's the dynamic of that. I don't know if it's because we've all been together since the opening of it here in the Twin Cities, and I love working here. And like I said, the Chicago one, they weren't bad. It didn't have that vibe, and that's how I feel about, like, if I were to go to another location again, because I'm introverted, I'm shy, I'm not very outgoing. I am very critical of myself, so even my flying skills I'd be very nervous on. Like, if people, thinking about people judging me as I'm in the wind tunnel, like, well, you've been doing this for how long, and that's all you can do in there. Which is just something you have to get over. And there was times I purposely didn't fly to build up my skills because I thought I was being judged all the time, because that's how much of, like, I pick on myself. But I don't know what the dynamic would be like at other tunnels. I don't know if I would find the love for it as much. I would assume that I still would kind of have that passion for it. Because there's nothing like taking a first time flyer in. Whether it's someone who's 5 years old or whether it's someone who's 90 years old. If it's not some jackass jock who thinks he knows everything and screws up hardcore when he's in there because he doesn't know how to listen to the instructor. But if you get that person who listens and goes in there and they start flying by themselves for the first time, and they come out with the biggest smile on their face, that's what I love. And when you can turn that 80-year-old person into a little kid who just saw and went through the most amazing thing they've ever been through, and that 80-year-old person is jumping up and down as they step out of the tunnel, that's what I love. That's what makes the job for me. There's times it sucks when you do classes a half hour at a time, and so you're in 100-mile-per-hour wind for a half hour straight, 4 to 5 times out of a day sometimes, and it's a struggle. I mean, sometimes your ass is handed to you, depending on what type of people are in a group or in a class or whatnot, but it's still rewarding based off of seeing how people react once they come out. I had a guy who was an amputee with his arm, and I told him exactly what he needed to do to fly no different than anyone else. And out of that class, he was the best flyer. And so being able to have someone who had no arm go in and fly great and come out feeling accomplished, that's why I love this job. And that's why I want to continue with it so much. And the Minneapolis location, we have so many programs. We have Wounded Warrior Night. So people with Wounded Warrior come in, and we do a night strictly dedicated to them. We do All Abilities Night, where people with autism, Down syndrome, paraplegics, quadriplegics, basically anyone with some sort of special needs or anything like that, we take them flying. When you got someone who is a quadriplegic and you can take them in the wind tunnel and they can still experience flight as well, it's the best feeling ever. I've had some people who are autistic who are way better flyers than just the normal person. So we do Wounded Warrior Nights. We have All Abilities Night. We have I was an instructor for adult classes on Sundays where I taught people how to do the belly and back flying before they progress on to like the harder heads up and heads down flying. And we have the kids program where kids come in and fly, like a kids flight school, and then the adult flight school and stuff like that. So it's why I'm so flustered with what to do right now. And Bryce and Evie, if I can get people to donate to me on YouTube here, I think if I came up with it about $30 million, we could probably open up a wind tunnel and get that going. But I currently do not have those types of funds. But yeah, so that's where I'm at a loss to what to do, because I want my job. I don't want to go to another city. I don't want to leave this place. I don't want to leave the fun of what's been going on with stuff on YouTube. When I had to train to become an instructor, I was out in Chicago for 2 months. And it's not that I hated it, but it wasn't home. It just being stuck in a hotel and not being in your home place sucks. So that's where it's like I want my job, but I don't want to make the sacrifice and being a wimp. I don't want to make the sacrifice of going someplace for 2 months being miserable when I could probably just take the severance and wait a month, maybe 2, and get called back here. Yeah. Yeah, I know there's passion in my voice for it. I wish it was that easy to start my own. But I definitely do not have the funds for that. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment with my fiance and a roommate and 3 little dogs, and yeah, I definitely don't have the funds to start my own. But well, that's what's going on. And I got to make a decision quick. And I talked with Chase at length earlier, and I think ultimately my decision is, if I know that I will be the first to be called back for our location as an instructor, which I was next in line anyways, but if I'm to be first called back as an instructor to be rehired back on, then I think I might just take the severance and stay here in the cities. Hopefully be able to collect some unemployment until I can get another job going. If they can't guarantee that I will be the first called back, or the first instructor to be back at MSP location, then I'm gonna have to go somewhere. I'm gonna have to fly out to a location. Because if it's one of those where they say, Joe Blow, down in Arizona has been with the company for 6 years, we're going to offer him the position first here in the Minneapolis location, even though you've been working here since it opened. He's been at the company longer. If that's how they're going to do it, then I have to fly somewhere else. So it'll be whatever they tell me tomorrow. Would I be able to travel home on weekends? No. Unless I want to pay for it out of pocket, which I wouldn't have the funds to be able to do that, because currently I'd have to, with whatever money I'm making, I'm trying to get bills caught up from having to basically max out my credit cards when they were trying to figure out the first stimulus to the second stimulus. I think it was between July all the way through December, and there wasn't any sort of extra income. And again, I was next on the list to be called back to work, and so I didn't look for a job because I was like, well, I'm not going to start a job and get called back to work 2 days later, and so I just never looked for a job. So I'm trying to get bills caught up. Everyone knows I built a computer. I financed that to try to get some better flow and be able to put out better stuff as far as YouTube goes, and get things going on with that, and just in general for certain other personal things. So I probably wouldn't fly back just because I wouldn't want to waste the money, because it would have to come out of my own pocket. If it was a location that I could drive to, I could probably do that, where I could come back. That's what I did when I was training out in Chicago. There's certain things with that. I don't know, like if my biggest concern would be if I was to get in a car accident from the hotel room to the iFly location, is that personal injury if it was my car versus if it's a rental car that's through the company, and I'm technically on, even though I'm not being paid at that moment, I'm technically on company time and their dime because it's their stuff. So it's a bunch of like legal liability stuff that I don't know how that would work out. But I mean, yeah, if I could drive somewhere, I would drive somewhere, and that way I could come back on weekends or something like that. I'd be more than willing to risk, God forbid, a car accident or something like that. If it meant I could come home and visit and whatnot, it depends on how far it is. If it was someplace that was 6 to 8 hours away, hell yeah, I'd come back. But otherwise, as far as flying or something like that, I wouldn't be able to have the funds to do so. So yeah. Looks like I got a notification that it looks like is Fight going live? FTFE, yeah, I think he's going live soon. I should probably wrap this up anyways, to make dinner soon. But I wanted to give people a heads up as far as what might be happening with my YouTube channel. It might go really quiet for a while if I have to travel for a job. There might not be really anything that gets pushed out on it, which sucks because, like I said, I felt like I was starting to make some headway. And with the Four Swordsmen, I don't know how much I'll be able to participate with them. And then with Slim, as far as Cookie and Biscuit, I don't. If I go somewhere, then that's just done. Which sucks because that was a lot of fun. But again, I don't know. Maybe if I get a call tomorrow and they say, hey, you will absolutely be the first we call back for the Minneapolis location if we need an instructor, then I'll be like, okay, give me the severance. I'll start looking for another job in the interim, and then maybe everything can kind of keep going. But I wanted to give people a heads up. I wanted people to know what was going on rather than hide some stuff or not tell people about it. Plus, I wanted input from people as far as what would you do? What would you guys do? Would you go travel somewhere else? And I'm not gonna say I would be miserable, but I feel like I'll be miserable for like the 2-3 months that I'm someplace else. Or would you just take the severance and hope that you get rehired on in 2, 3, 4 months time? So yeah. Trying to kind of read. If it's a company car, they are liable. Your car, you're liable. Yeah. But they also have. I don't have my glasses on. Do drive record check to make sure you don't have a crazy amount of Deweys. Yeah. I know I can't put links, but the word Patreon in the pinned post is too close to the PayPal URL. Did I screw that one up? That probably happens. I gotta fix that. It's also in the description. If you look in the description of my of the stream, I think it's in there as well. CEO of Saber was basically just saying my job basically let me go today, unless there's other locations that need help right now, and I could go to another location for up to 3 months, and possibly stay on with the company, or I could take severance, continue on with unemployment while looking for another job in hopes that I get called back to be rehired on in a time. I don't know how long that time will be. If I want to stay 100% with the company and not worry about getting called back or not, I'd have to travel somewhere, which it's not ideal for me. I personally don't want to go somewhere, but if I have to, I will. Yeah, trying to read some of this other stuff too. Yeah, Sam, but that's the thing is like, I gotta wait to hear back tomorrow now on what's going on, if I can be sent somewhere in order to keep my job, then I'll go somewhere. But if they say, if they say we pretty much guarantee that you will be the first called back for our location when we need another instructor, I'd rather not go somewhere else. That I would just take the severance and start looking for like a part-time job until I get called back. Because I don't want to go somewhere else. Being straightforward, I will if I have to. Again, maybe if it was like Dallas, if they needed help down in Dallas, then I'd be like, okay, well, again, team is down there, Johnny O is down there, JL Warren's down there, that maybe they'd be willing to meet up and show me around or something, but I don't know people in other cities where we have iFlies. So, but yeah, that's what's gonna happen currently. So I'm gonna just then start repeating myself. It seems like so. I don't know what else to say. That's the news. That's what's going on. So if things get really slow on my channel, if I'm not participating in a lot of things, it's just because I'm trying to figure stuff out, or I'm packing to go to another city to start working there for a bit. Which again, maybe I could do more so of like a working in another city diary type thing on my channel until I'm back here in the cities with my desktop computer. Otherwise, like I said, I won't be able to do swordsman streams really, or I won't be able to do the cookie and biscuit stream. And the hump day with Tanner and Chase would obviously not be going if I have to go somewhere else. So just so you guys know, if for those of you who have subscribed, a lot of people have been coming back, and I'm very, very, very thankful for you guys for coming in and subscribing to me and following me. I mean, I never once in a million years ever thought I would start a YouTube thing, nor did I ever think that I would have 115 people subscribe to me. Each time someone subscribes new, I'm kind of like, why the hell did you subscribe to me? But everyone likes different things, and I'm hoping that the stuff that I put out, whether it's the drone stuff or whether it's the pick on flat earthers or the teaching of skydiving stuff, if it's hopefully someone likes something at some point. And I like to be goofy, I like to be funny, but I also like to be my serious stuff, and you guys seem to enjoy the hangouts with Chase and I. We have talked some funny stuff, but there have been some very serious conversations that I think have actually helped people out. So that's cool. So I thank each and every single person that subscribes, and it means a lot to me, and I will never take anyone for granted. And some of you have been around since I've had 15 subscribers, which you got to watch the evolution of it all. But all right, I'm gonna read some more stuff here. Yeah, Chris, it's I don't know how to take it, good news or bad news. And yeah, Tony Regime, you're right. Sometimes repeating helps you to realize what it needs to do. Yeah. So there was one time where I did get asked if I wanted to come back to work, and I'm gonna be 100% honest here, 100% straightforward. There's gonna be no hidden thing here. I got called back to work, but I think I wasn't quite guaranteed full-time hours, which full-time hours I think is 35 hours or more as far as our company goes. Or it's 32 hours or more as far as our company goes. And I don't think I was guaranteed full-time hours. And honestly, I was making more on unemployment with a little bit of add-on than I would have been working. And it wasn't that I didn't want to work, it's that things had because of the situation of not stimulus for a while, that I had to use my credit cards and stuff. It was easier for me to stay on unemployment with the additional 300 or whatever to help me get paid down so I could get caught up from not working than if I would have went back to work. And so I paused for a little bit of not going back to work just because I wanted to financially get myself in a better place. And if I would have went back to work not being guaranteed full-time hours, I would have been going into the red more and more and more and more. And I wasn't willing to at that time take that sacrifice just to be at work for a few hours. So I'm going to be 100% open and honest with that part. But now I'm in a better situation where, yeah, I definitely can go back to work, and it sounds like the hours would be the full-time hours versus part-time hours. I cannot survive off of part-time hours. And it's a very commission heavy job, where a good third to half of my income is based off of commissions. And so if I'm not working a lot of hours, if I'm considered only part-time, that means I'm also losing out on a lot of commissions, which means I'm just losing out on that much more money. So uh so thanks CEO Saber for letting me, agreeing, to just vent. Um and it is nice to get it out there. And the thing too is maybe someone has an idea or a thought or another way of looking at something that they are willing to put out there, or if they hit me up on Discord at some point and be like, have you thought about this? And maybe I didn't think about it. I've tried to look at each avenue of what my current situation is, considering I have about, like I said, 16 to 18 hours to figure out what it is that I want to do. Um, I know that there's probably 2 to 3 locations that I absolutely do not want to go to. If they were like, well, you have to go to this location if you want to stay on, I probably would be like, nope, don't want to go to that location. Just give me my severance. um, uh, so, but yeah. Um, I'm just mostly sad because if I have to go somewhere, it just means I'm not only am I going someplace different, that I don't know anyone, that my partner's not there with me, that I don't have much space, that I gotta do everything on my laptop, which sucks, but then I don't get to um have the quality time with you guys, or the quality stuff to put out on YouTube that I want to. I felt like I started getting a rhythm with the YouTube thing, and it was helping with a lot of my depression and mental health stuff. And if I have to go somewhere, I know that's just going to and be gone. Because live streaming with the laptop's going to be, I'll try it, but it's going to be damn near impossible. And video editing good videos for YouTube with that laptop is pretty garbage too. If you guys aren't part of the 4 swordsman Discord, let me pop a link into the chat here. If I can figure out how to do this. As everyone knows, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with software and internet stuff. But I'm gonna post a link to the Discord. I think this expires after so long. There's the 4 Swordsman Discord. You can find me in there frequently. I go. I think right now, my name in there is Sir Tanner Diver of the Sky or something like that. But it's Skydiver Tanner pretty much everywhere on Discord. So if you guys do have any input or any advice, feel free to send me a direct message. I usually try to reply unless I'm cooking food or doing a lot of weird research. Like I like to research a lot of stuff on fish tanks frequently, and we'll read up on that. Lately I've been reading up because I just built a computer. I used to build computers all the time, and that was one of my big hobbies back 12-13 years ago. Water cooled everything. And so I haven't done it for so long that I'm kind of starting to relearn everything. I'm trying to relearn all the new RAM that's out there, and all the new graphics cards and stuff, and the AIOs and whatnot, and realizing that, like, some of the things that I bought now, I'm kind of like, oh, I should have, if I would have just spent the $30 more, I could have got, such and such case that would have given me a hell of a lot more room, and I would have been able to cable manage better in there. But I didn't know shit, so I've been getting deep involved into that. So sometimes if I don't message back, it's usually because I'm cooking or I'm deep into researching something. But yeah. Do you want to play the guessing game about where I don't want to go? You could definitely do that if you know where the locations are here in the US. You could probably throw some out, and I could probably tell you if I'd want to go or not want to go there. Um, uh, so yeah, it's some of the East Coast locations I don't want to go to. Um, there's not a hell of a lot of southern ones. There's ones in Florida, there's some in Atlanta, or there's one in Atlanta. Uh, I'd probably be okay with Atlanta, Florida. I don't do well with heat. I suck at heat. Like it just I roast as it is. Like right now it's what 30 degrees outside and there's snow and I got the window open. Um yeah, I watch Aquarium Co-op quite frequently. I don't think Mississippi has one. Charlottesville is they are one of the very few that is not corporate. They are a franchise. Um and they do well as a franchise. So I don't think I would be asked to go there just because of the fact that they are a franchise, and I think they're actually doing really well. Uh New Jersey. So Newark, New Jersey. That's kind of actually where they're currently saying that I'd be going. It'd be New York or New Jersey, I think, would be one of the locations. Now, I don't know them well enough. I've never been to New York, New Jersey. If I knew people out there that are willing to kind of hang out with, that would be cool. Um, I just don't know those locations, so I'd probably be okay with that. I will say, the DC area, I, ugh, I'm iffy on that. There's some stuff that just makes me not think the DC area would be that great to go to. Um, Connecticut, is there one in Connecticut now? Because I know they've built a lot in the last like 3-4 years. Um, Connecticut might be cool. Depends on what the people are like there. Um, like there's 3 out in Chicago, and each location is very, very unique as far as customers and very unique as far as the people that work there. Uh, all there's great people who work at all 3 of those. But the people who come in are very different at each location. um, I don't know if Rhode Island has one or not. I'd have to look at where a bunch of them. Go to DC and get a PCP cigarette. Oh my god. That'd be cool. Chris, I mean, if it's a location that's by you, that'd be awesome. And Shane, yes, I know Alien is in Chi-Town. In fact, he's close to the tunnel that I trained in. And we even joked about like when Irish Demon comes up, if he flies into O'Hare, one of the tunnels is right by O'Hare. It's like literally next door to it. That I was like, just bring Demon straight over to iFly there in Chicago, iFly Rosemont. And I said that could be the very first thing we do after he gets off an airplane. is to fly there. Okay, sorry. I just got a text from my general manager because I gave him a heads up. I was like, hey, he's an awesome guy. This is why I love my location. You can be so open and frank with everyone there, and everyone's ready to support. I kind of gave him a heads up to let him know, like, hey, these are kind of my thoughts, and he's just like, thanks for letting me know. Um, that I might get an email tonight because as of today, basically everyone is let go. Um, so I think it's officially we're let go, and then it's um you get the email with the severance package stuff that you got to sign or whatnot. Versus whereas if I don't sign it and they say, oh yeah, you can go to another city and start working there for the next 3 months, then I don't think I have to worry about any of that. Oh, come here. I got a little guy who wants to come up. Here we go. So at least he's being open and honest about that part. So you live in Connecticut. Mike Bartleson lives out there. Yeah, so if I was sent to New York or New Jersey, that'd be cool. If there was people that were kind of close by to meet up with or hang out with. Like I said, if I was sent to I won't. Oh, God damn it, Tina! She almost scared me. She almost got me really good. If I don't think I'd be sent to Texas, just because I don't think they need help down there. I think they're usually doing pretty good. But I would gladly go to I'd gladly go to Dallas in a heartbeat. Austin or Houston. I think a skydiver who I trained with when I first became a skydiver, I think she God, is she Austin or is she Houston? If she's down there and if she's still working, that would be cool, because then at least I would know someone. But I think currently the tunnels would be Atlanta, DC area, New York, or New Jersey. Kansas City might need someone. If Kansas needed someone, that might be easier, because then it would be I could just drive there and drive back up. And hello, Fohammer. I don't know what other locations would need people. I know at the Minneapolis location, I know they've sent some of our instructors out to other tunnels already because they've needed help everywhere. Which is funny. Get this is, so many people have quit during furlough that they have to hire new instructors, and that they're putting people through the FITP, which is the Flight Instructor Training Program, which is basically a month-long tunnel instructor boot camp that, if you saw pictures that I have from that, I mean, bruises everywhere, marks from the net pattern on my back from from it all. So they're hiring people and they need the help. So it's kind of weird that they're letting people go that are on furlough, unless that many people just don't want to travel to different locations. Like I said, I personally don't want to go to another location to work for 2 to 3 months. But if it means keeping my job, I'll do it. Unless they can promise me that I'll be first hired back at the MSP location when they need instructors. But yeah, there's that. And it's so funny because now the dog is sitting right in front of me, just out of camera view, staring at me. I don't know what he wants. But Fullhammer, being your part of the swordsman, I was just saying, as I'll be repeating this again, technically I was let go from my job today. I mean, officially, actually, I am let go. Anyone who is on furlough is let go from the job. But they might need instructors to help out at other locations. So I would probably have to go to, if I want to guarantee that I still have a job with this company, I'd have to go to another location for up to 3 months. Which, that's why I was saying, I probably wouldn't be able to do swordsman streams, and I probably wouldn't be able to do the cookie biscuit stream. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the videos that I want to do on my own channel. My channel will take a big hit as far as what I produce. Um, so unless I take the severance. If they say 100% you'll be the first back, I'd take the sev and chill, try and find something. Exactly. That it sounds really bad. It's one of those where the company's great, and then there's other times, like any company, there's times you love it and there's times you hate the company, right? Like, I'm not knocking iFly, but for what we do, we technically should make a lot more than what we do. I mean, we're basically destroying our bodies, absolutely destroying our bodies. But we have a passion for it, and we want to spread that on, and so we do it. And then the commissions. But so there's a part of me where it's like, if you say that I'm gonna be the first back, hell yeah, give me that severance money. I'll do the unemployment until I find that second job or till I find the other job, and when you call me back, there I am, right back there for you. But if they can't guarantee that to me, then I'll have to go to another location. And hello, Alien X. Yeah. So a bunch of people jumping in that they miss a lot. I don't want to come off as a dick. But I've repeated it so many times. I've been doing nothing but repeating myself this whole stream, so you guys might just have to go back and rewatch. Otherwise, you probably got the gist of it of what I just said. Come live in Chicago. If it was if Chicago was one of the places to go and help out at, I told people that's where I started. That's where I got all my training, and I've been to all 3 locations out there, so I know people there as far as the instructors. I'd be okay with going to Chicago, and again, then I could drive back home on my days off because it's only a 6-hour drive. And then, yeah, I know you. So at least there would be, that's the thing is, if there's people I know in these locations, then I don't have an issue. But I'm so shy and I'm so introverted, and I don't like I'm not a drinker. I don't like going to the bars. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. And so I'm more of the chill and be relaxed, and maybe go to a restaurant and have a meal or something, but or hang out or play games or something like that. But if I know people in a city, then yeah, then I'd be more apt to go there. But if I don't know people, it really struggles. Like I said, it'd probably affect my mental health. I'd probably be so depressed. But yes, Fohammer, I absolutely know that your DMs are always open, and I kind of gave people a quick warning today, and I'm sorry if it sounded very, very dire or if it was really bad, but I was kind of in panic mode earlier this morning, and I wanted to give people a heads up right away that, hey, look, it might be a day or two that I'm already going somewhere, and if I have to go, that means I got to be packing, which means I'm not going to be able to tell people or talk to people about what's going on. I'd be focused on the job. I'd be focused on flying out to where I had got to go. Then not only that, I'd have to worry about my schedule because I don't want to say they work you to the bone, but you're working full-time hours wherever you're going. And it's pretty much always weekends that you're working. And so I just didn't think I would have the time to truly explain to people what's going on if I didn't at least put it out right away and say something. Because depending on what the news is tomorrow, it could be where the next 2-3 days are just chaos of me trying to pack things up, teach Chase how to do the water change in my fish tank, and get stuff packed and get stuff in order and figure out what to do with bills and whatnot, and then fly out to where I need to go and get set up. So yeah. I drink hot chocolate. I have a drink, like, I'll put Bailey's or whatever in hot cocoa or in coffee, or I'll have wine, or I'm not a what's weird is I'm not a beer drinker at home, but if I go to a club, beer's perfectly fine, but I'm not one to drink to get drunk. I don't like anything that feels unnatural to me. Um I've smoked weed before, and I've had the THC vape, whatnot, and it's like I'm okay with that. But like alcohol, I don't doesn't do it for me. Like I said, it doesn't mean I don't. It's just not my thing. And I know a lot of skydivers, a lot of people at a day at the end of a hard day of having your ass handed to you, they want nothing more than to go out and have a couple beers and get drunk. And me, after a hard day, I just want to go home and I just want to relax and watch stupid on YouTube or on TV or cuddle up with the dogs or something. Um, uh, yeah. Kevin, that's the thing is, I mean, so Chase has his fish tank and he knows how to take care of it. But the thing is, he's got a 10-gallon, I got a 75-gallon. So when I do the water change on mine, I use the quick water change thing where you screw it onto the sink, and then you turn on the water and it helps siphon it out, and then you pull the hose out or the siphon part out, I unscrew that, and then I put the attachment to refill it on that just hooks onto the tank, and then you get the water temperature right, and then you push it in to pump the water in. So it's mostly just teaching him the hose part on how to do that. And I probably could get away with, if I cleaned out the canister filters, if I cleaned them right before I left, he shouldn't have to touch them in that 2-3 months time. Nothing should be done there. But it would be one of those with, like, what happens if the CO2 goes out, or what happens if the CO2 starts leaking. Show him how to close up the CO2 or how to undo that, or if the CO2 needs to be refilled, like how to detach everything and take it in and get it filled and come back and make sure that it's screwed back on without leaking or anything like that. Because I'll tell you what, the CO2 went out for 3 days on my tank, and because there wasn't that consistency in there, that black beard algae spiked real fast within that 3 days of the CO2 being down. So that's kind of crazy to realize how much that impacts that. So it'd be stuff like that. And the other part is I'd feel guilty, like, leaving Chase here to take care of 3 dogs all by himself, and the fish tanks and whatnot. Like, these little guys are cute, but they're also pains in the asses. As he's just laying there looking all super cute. You can't see him, but he just faced me all tuckered out. He normally sleeps in his crate at night, but the last week he's been pawing at his crate really hard, and then he wants to come up and lay on the bed and sleep, and he doesn't move. Once he's up here, he lays down and he's there. He does not move. Bailey, the min pin, he's moving constantly at night. Above the cover, under the covers, above the covers, under the covers. Not Noki. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know why he's been wanting it, because normally he loves his crate. He wants to sleep in his crate. He wants nothing more than his crate. You say bedtime, boom, he's in there. But yeah, this last week he's been wanting to come and sleep on the bed more lately. Kevin, my what I do is, like, so it happened because the CO2 went out and because the blackbeard algae spiked really hard. Hydrogen peroxide, baby. My best friend when that shit happens. I just have my wide bore syringe that holds like 30 milliliters of I'll fill it up with hydrogen peroxide, and I just spot treat all the blackbeard algae areas, and you watch that stuff go from black to purple to pink real quick. But it's obviously like, yeah, some algae is great in there, but when the blackbeard algae starts going on the plants and it starts covering up the leaves, that's where I have an issue. And so spot treat it with the hydrogen peroxide, takes it out real quick. And it doesn't affect the fish either, so it's not like you're putting some weird algae side in there that could affect snails or crustaceans or whatever else like that. It's just spot treat, and usually it puts oxygen back in the tank, and there you go. Works awesome. Byproduct is what? Water and oxygen. I think that's the byproduct of the hydrogen peroxide that goes in there once it kills the blackbeard algae. I think that's what it is. I think it's water and oxygen is the byproduct. Well, it's H2O too, so I mean, I would imagine that's what the byproduct would be. Anyways, you want to come here? All you see is his little ears. Okay. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end it here. This already went a bit longer than I was expecting. I want to thank you guys for listening. I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to give a heads up to people. If it seems like all of a sudden I just kind of disappear, where I'm not talking in Discord, or I'm not putting out things on YouTube, or if I'm not doing the swordsman stuff, or I'm not doing the cookie biscuit stuff, it's because that it's probably because then I ended up having to fly somewhere or go somewhere and start working in a different location until I can come back here. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up that this is what's going on. If I don't go anywhere and it's just where I just straight up lost my job and hope that I get a call back, then I probably will continue with some of this stuff, but it might be few and far between because not gonna lie, it's gonna be a blow to the ego knowing that I don't have a job, and that I gotta start looking somewhere, looking for a job somewhere where I don't have any sort of skill set or any sort of degree in anything. So, but at least then I can continue on with the swordsman or something until I do find a job. Then, there's a bike place right up here, like I said, that ships out parts and stuff like that, and they're mostly evenings and they don't do weekends, and that would be perfect for me, and it's literally 2 blocks away, so that'd probably be the first place I'd look at. And I think they'd be more than okay or understanding if I were to be like, this is going to be a part-time thing until I get back to my actual job. Because I'm sure bike sales are probably up. Like a lot of things, anything that's hobby related or anything like that is probably up in sales. So thanks guys for listening. Thanks for stopping by. I'll keep everyone posted on what's going on. If it is something where I have to go somewhere else for like a 2 to 3 month stint in order to keep my job, I'll try to let everyone know, so that way it's not just kind of a random me falling off the face of the earth. And like I said, thank you guys for any input or any advice. If you guys do have more input or advice, feel free to hit me up on the Four Swordsman Discord. Or I'm in so many other Discords too that I'm sure you can find me. I'm in Aliens Discord. I think I'm in Kevin's Discord. So even if you're on Kevin's, you could find me there. So yeah. Mippet, I would. Australia is my number one bucket list destination, and they do have an iFly, I believe, in Sydney or Brisbane or both. And if they said, oh, they need help down there, I'd be like, send my ass to Australia. I will be a worker down there for 3 months. Hell yeah. Sorry, Chase, you're taking care of the dogs. So yeah. Thanks, guys, again. I'll try to keep you posted, but if you don't hear from me, just kind of assume that it's because I'm going somewhere else. For now, I'm going to leave the Hump Day Hangout schedule for tomorrow as it is. The times might vary. I've been struggling with what I want to do for that time. I think I have it set for 6:30, but it might get bumped back to 9:30. Just depending on how the day goes tomorrow. So it'd be 9:30 Central Time, which is 3:30 a.m., which I know is really late for some people. But thanks, guys, and I'll talk to you all later. Be safe. Don't be stupid. Let's try to get past this stupid COVID thing. Don't let spring break bring another spike. Because if there's another spike because of this spring break shit, I swear to God, I'm going to be breaking things in this place, and I can't afford to be breaking things. Oh, today is Monday. See? That just goes to show. So, 2 days from now, depending on how tomorrow goes. If tomorrow goes, well, depending on how tomorrow goes, there might not even be a Hump Day Hangout on Wednesday. Yeah. So, Wednesday would be the thing. Today is Monday. Wow. But all right, thanks Whippet, thanks Sita, thanks Kevin, thanks Alien, thanks Chris, thanks let's see who we got. Mark, thanks Fo, and who did we have earlier? CEO, Tony Regime, Shane, who am I missing? Bryson, Evie. Is it Evie or is it just Eve? In New Zealand. Isa, I hope I say that right. Thank you all for coming by. And Tusk, thank you too. Demon Orb. Who am I missing? Mario was here. If you're still here, thank you for coming by. Little Wolf was by. Like I said, I'm just super thankful for you guys even subscribing to me. It's awesome. And, if you like what I do and I keep doing it, become a Patreon or, feel free to donate to PayPal or Venmo. I got the links in the description. But all right, I'm gonna stop doing the Minnesota Canadian goodbye. I'm gonna stop the Brainy Beaver goodbye. Oh yeah, and Sam was here. Thank you, Geo Sam, for stopping by and the input as well.